Hey folks, welcome back to the Q Shed Backyard Barbecue. It's another overcast, rainy day in Oregon, but we're cooking chicken today, two different ways, on my Cascade Smokers custom Q Deville. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so what we've got here ready to go on the smoker is chicken thighs from Costco. They're bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, my favorite kind of chicken to cook. And last night I pulled there a total of 18 thighs in the package, and last night I pulled out 6 of them, put my standard rub on, which is paprika, kosher salt, coarse ground pepper, cumin, garlic powder, and brown sugar. And so I put a fairly heavy coat of rub on them and let them sit out overnight, just like this in the refrigerator. And then the other 12 thighs, I marinated overnight in a sweet, spicy Korean barbecue sauce. But never tried it before. I'm excited about it. It has a bit of a kick to it. There's some fresh garlic in there as well. And these thighs have been marinating since, about 6 o'clock last night, basically. And it is now about 2 o'clock the next day. So I'm going to get all these on. Expect them to be on for about 3 hours or so at around 300 degrees, and the pit is coming up to temp now. So we will get them on and be back. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the 6 chicken thighs with the rub on them over there, and then the sweet, spicy Korean barbecue sauce marinated thighs over here. And I'm going to get everything closed up. We've got our ambient temperature probe there on the same rack, and I'm going to get this closed up and let this Cascade Smokers Q Deville do its thing. I'll see you back in a bit. Okay, so our chicken thighs have been on for about 2 hours and 15 minutes now. So let's take a look and see how they're doing. Alright, so as you can see, the sugars in the Korean barbecue sauce marinade have caramelized, and the skin is nice and blackened. It's not burnt, but it is nice and blackened. Whereas the other thighs that are more normal in terms of what I usually do with my rub on them are looking good. Going to temp them, and I am going to spritz the rub thighs with a 50-50 blend of apple juice and apple cider vinegar, just to keep them moist. I'm going to get an instant read thermometer and check the temp on these other thighs. I'll be right back. So these thighs are all temping right at 200 degrees, which means they are done. They'll be nice and tender and falling apart at that point. So I'm going to get everything pulled off here, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the chicken thighs have rested for about 15 minutes or so, and let's take a look at what we've got here. So as you can see, we got beautiful dark color because of the caramelization of the sugars in the Korean barbecue sauce version. Again, it's not burnt, it's just nicely caramelized. And then these, we end up with a nice crusty bark. The rub is very well set on there. So going to take one of each and pick one of the smaller ones of each because we've got guests coming for dinner. So look at the up close here, the bark on the Korean style. So with thighs, yeah, they need to just come apart like that easily, and this one is. Bone pulls out cleanly. Yeah, these are definitely falling apart, which is a good thing. Korean barbecue version, very much the same. Again, these were marinated overnight. These are hot still, obviously. And I do not have cotton liners under these gloves. Let me get the camera readjusted and we'll do a taste test. Okay, so let's start with the Korean barbecue version. I'm just going to take a bite of meat and the skin. So I don't know whether you could hear that crunch or not, but the skin has a nice crunch to it. The temps were up around 275 to 300 degrees for most of the cook, so that definitely resulted in a nice crispy skin. Love the crunch on that skin. There's a bit of a bite to it from the spice from the Korean sauce. Very good. It's moist, yet it's absolutely falling apart. Outstanding. And now the standard rub version, which I do all the time. Again, the skin is nice and crispy, which is very important to me with chicken. The key, I think, is getting up around 300 degrees, maybe even a little hotter, but it's turned out perfectly. So I think I prefer the more traditional barbecue chicken than I normally do. I'm used to that rub, the flavor profile of it. I prefer that. We're having guests over later tonight. We'll see what they think of the Korean version. It's very good. It's got a nice kick to it, and it's sweet. The pecan wood that I used on my charcoal smoker from Cascade Smokers did a good job of imparting a light, smoky flavor to it, to both of them. They're very good. Different, but very good. So I would like to play with the sweet, spicy sauce a little more and tweak the flavor profile, but I think we might be onto something for a change of pace. So thanks for joining us tonight at the Q Shed Backyard Barbecue. You guys take care.